Yeah, during the holiday time when we had lectures, I taught you letter writing. Then I told you basically we have two types of letters. Formal letters and informal letters. It's only at the secondary school level they will talk about semi-formal letter. But semi-formal letter these days is no longer relevant. A letter is either formal or informal. But in those days, they used to ask questions on semi-formal letters. I'll give you examples of such later. So this afternoon, we'll be talking about informal letters. Informal letters. You can write. An informal letter is a letter that we write to friends, brothers, sisters, parents, and other close associates. Full stop. To write an informal letter, the following steps could be taken. The following steps could be taken. One, write the address of the writer, and the date. On the top, right-hand side corner of the paper. On the top, right-hand side corner of the paper. Two, salutation. Three, introduction. Four, body of the letter. Five, conclusion. 6, complementary clues. So, examples of informal letters are 1. Your sister is proposing to marry a young man. Your sister is proposing to marry a young man from another ethnic group. But your mother has refused to give her consent has refused to give her consent to the proposed marriage. To the proposed marriage. Full stop. Write a letter to your mother. Write a letter to your mother, giving at least 3 reasons. Giving at least 3 reasons why she must change her mind. Giving at least 3 reasons why she must change her mind. 2. Your father has insisted, that you must study medicine. That you must study medicine. But this is not an area of your own interest. But this is not an area of your own interest. Write a letter to your father. Write a letter to your father. Giving him at least 3 reasons. Giving him at least 3 reasons why he must change his mind and allow you to study because of your choice. To study because of your choice. And third, the third one, your brother, your younger brother has been reported to you as playing truant in secondary school. Your brother has been reported to you as playing truant in the secondary school. Write a letter to him. Write a letter to him telling him at least 3 consequences of his actions. Telling him at least 3 consequences of his actions. And advise him to have a change of mind. Yeah, so we are going to practice those 3 questions. The first step. Whose address? The address of the writer and the date. Don't write the address yet. Today's date. 24.
24, yeah, 24.
Oh, 2025. Look up, everybody. Although when I was teaching you formal letters, I taught you how to write the address in the most acceptable way. That should be about 3 months ago. Now look up. The first thing the examiner looks at is the address in your letter. It is not written in capital letters throughout. If you write everything in capital letters throughout, 0. Instead of that, every word in the address of this letter begins with a capital letter. That's how it should be. Every word begins with a capital letter. That's how it should be. Again, this place is in a block form. Forget about the controversies of whether it should be slant or it should be semi-slant. It should be place safe. Write the block form. Then take note of the punctuation marks. Adult grammar school, comma, P full stop, M full stop, B full stop. The reason being that after an abbreviation, you put a full stop. So, 3006, comma, Abeokuta, comma, Ogun State, full stop. O in Ogun State, capital, S in State, capital. Then, 24th January 2025. I did not write 24 is to partridge. I did not abbreviate January to be 24th Jan, full stop and comma, 2025. I did not write 24th of January 2025. Remember all these corrections. Don't write your address or date in the way the examiner will penalize you, because that is where candidates begin to lose marks. Every minus half, every minus 1 go a long way to determine your success or failure in the exam. Do you have any question on this? Again, let me remember to tell you this. In case the name of your school is very long, ensure that the first line contains the name. If you write Omolaja, Mem, Gram, you get 0. In case the name of your school is very long, like Egba Comprehensive High School, and your handwriting so big so that if you write Egba Comprehensive High School, it will run to the next line, which we call enjambment in poetry. Don't allow that. You can write Egba High School. Comprehensive there will not fail you. Egba High School. But if you have good graphological method of writing, so that you can give it a view that, okay, if I start from here, it will end here. Some people are talented to do that. And accurately, it will end there. And don't start the name of your school from the first margin, just because you want it to contain the first line. So, face validity, there is a general view your letter should look like. Abeokuta Grammar School, Egba High School, Baptist Girls College, Salah Abiola Comprehensive High School. If you are good enough, you should be able to write that, and they are contained in just the first line, without allowing the line to run to the next line. Is that taken? If you do this very well, you have started to gather marks for yourself. Do you have any question? I know you might have been taught some way that you can write the address without punctuation marks at all. Fine, it's acceptable. But I always train my own students to play safe when you are writing an exam. Suppose the examiner, the person marking your script, is not aware of that method. For example, it's just somebody just finished NYSC, or even an NYSC member who get crashed and was given script to mark. On seeing that, if it's not experienced enough to know that, okay, you can write the address without punctuation marks at all, it will penalize you. And some will have forgotten that they are not putting punctuation marks. After 2025, they will mistakenly put full stop there. Once the full stop is here, the examiner will penalize you for the rest. But I told you, write your address with punctuation marks. Did you hear? I know some of you are using the 11th commandment. No matter how we say this, you still go and do your own. But God will help you. Dear sister or brother, dear sister Joy, dear brother Daniel, etc., etc. Look up, there's something I'm trying to demonstrate here. While writing that endearment or the salutation, when it's your friend, write your friend's name. Write a letter to your friend. Don't say their friend. Does your friend not have a name? Write their Tope, their Tosi. If you are writing to your brother or sister, but you are not putting their names, you only want to say their brother. B in brother will be capital letter B. S in sister will be capital letter S. But if you want to mention their names, dear sister Joy, S in sister here is small letter. J in Joy, capital. Dear brother Daniel, B in brother, small letter. D in Daniel, capital letter. That is the salutation. What if you are writing to your mom? You are free to write their mom, their dad, their mommy, their daddy, their mother, their father. But after writing there, the next letter in the second word will begin with a capital letter. Is that okay? Yes. Any mistake here is a penalty, and you are forfeiting the mark for that one. So for you to gather your marks, take time to write every stage correctly. Before you know it, you've gathered enough marks that will fetch you a distinction. I know what you want is a distinction. Yes, God will do it. And when we sat under the canopy enjoying again, some also came to greet me. They said they were 300 level, 200 level, 400 level. So many more from myself also. Because they listened. Because they did what? And they went to the exam to write what we taught them. God will help you. Introduction of the letter. Unlike the formal letter, where you go straight to the point. In an informal letter, you are allowed to greet. But this should be done with caution. Don't devote the whole of your time greeting the person that is receiving the letter. Do that moderately. For instance, the type of letter you're writing determines the introduction. Now, that case of wanting to tell your mom to allow your sister to get married to the man from another ethnic group, you are not just presenting points, you are presenting convincing points. I want to tell you what some candidates wrote in the past. For example, one said, "Dear mother, I was not happy when I received the news from my sister that you have refused her to marry Brother Gabriel because he is from another ethnic group. Mommy, how many times did I call you?" By the time I finished writing the ongoing SSC and I returned home, and you have not changed your mind, that house cannot contain the two of us. Now, tell me, a letter from a daughter or a son to a mother saying that. Another candidate wrote, "Dear mother, I'm quite appreciative of all your efforts over us since our father died. You have been a special single mother. You have not left any stone unturned to see us to the top. And it is this love you have for us that made you to decide that my sister should not marry Brother Dele because he's a Yoruba man. However, I want to appeal to you to change your mind for the following reasons. First, she is the first daughter of the family. And when we look at her age now, she's about 36 years of age. She has just been fortunate to meet somebody to marry. Depriving her this opportunity may mean a lot. People may even insinuate that it's her mother who is behind her predicaments. Support her with prayers. Let her get married to a man of her heart. Everything shall be well. Can you see that? No mother will read that, will not sit down and say, there is a point in what this child is saying. Furthermore, another reason might be your sister works in Ogun State, not in Anambra State where you are living. And her husband is also there. Definitely, she will get married and settle down there without changing her place of work. If she were to come back to Anambra to get married, because your mother wants an Anambra indigene to marry her daughter, that means she will have to look for another job after marriage if transfer is not possible. She has suffered enough in school. She should sit down, enjoy what she's doing, and make herself comfortable. That could be another point. Another one could be, this man your mother insists your sister must not marry had done a lot for your sister, assisting mom in bringing her up, right from 100 level in the university to 400 level. To say they should not get married now will sound somehow to the people. People will think, what was mommy looking at before? Why is it after she finished serving and she got a job and she wants to settle down that Brother Gabriel is no longer qualified? Mommy should consider this area as well, etc., etc. There are many other points you can advance. Present it in a persuasive way that your mom will actually say, okay, my daughter or my son is making sense. Let me change my mind. But when you tell your mom that, mommy, when you wanted to get married, did your own mother or your father stop you from getting married to that person? That very year this question came out, I marked a lot of things. And I wonder whether in reality they could have written such a letter to their mothers. So, that is both. If the question says at least 3 reasons, make sure you don't limit yourself at those 3 reasons. You can make it 4. But that is not to say you'll be making 12, 15 points. This is not economics or commerce, where the more the points, the more the mark. But here, 3, 4 points, well presented, will give you a very good mark. In yours is capital letter Y. There is no apostrophe on S. Small letter S, comma, Bolu, full stop. No surname, no signature. No surname, no signature. If you write this correctly, that's an additional mark for you. That is informal letter.
So I also want to write straight. Can write STR. Full stop. Like that's how it was.
Yeah. That's how they taught you in school.
You said direct instruction and put full stop at comma. That's meaning is an incomplete.
All right. Don't abbreviate. The only standard abbreviation that is acceptable is that PNB. If you abbreviate any word, in the address of your letter, even in the body of your letter, the examiner assumes you do not know the spelling. And truly, students play a lot of tricks. I've told you that in those days, GC, that's November, December exam, English paper used to come up around October. And majority of the candidates will write 24th October 1992. 12th October. Now, if they had been allowed to abbreviate to have 24th Oct, full stop, comma, 2020. How am I sure if he was compelled to write in full, he would not have written October, thinking that after all, it is September, November, December. I've even seen a case where he wrote October correctly. He had to go and write, he wrote October correctly. I don't know what he thought. He squeezed MJ again and messed up the whole thing. Maybe when devil told him that after all, it is September, it is November, it is December. Why do you think it should be October? You know, during examinations, the brain plays a lot of tricks on you. You have to be very careful. Even simple spelling of the word you've been writing all the time, you forget the spelling. So you have to take it easy. And while writing any word which is spelling you are not sure of, don't use that word. Use the one you are very sure of the spelling. Or when later come back to it after you have calmed down. Especially the first 10-15 minutes of starting that paper, there used to be tension. What's your question? So in conclusion, that girl, write straight in full. Don't abbreviate.
Is it possible to say dear sister Wale, like they included that you should have to elder sister?
Make your point, let me hear
Is it possible to say dear sister Wale, or can just say dear Wumi?
Dear Wumi, very good girl. You see, I told you before now that there is always mother tongue interference in what you write. We always allow your culture to jeopardize what you write. In English society, where we are copying all this from, no respect. If you are 19 and your elder sister is 28, Jide is Jide. Mumi is Mumi. But here, even if she's 6 months older, they will compel you, call her auntie. Even if the sister is better, you say auntie and call auntie so. Not knowing that there's a difference between aunt and sister. However, WAEC recognizes that you want to respect your culture. Their sister, Mumi, is okay. If you write down Mumi, nobody will penalize you. The one that could be offensive is this. When the question is very simple, saying, write a letter to your brother who traveled out of the country 4 years ago, telling him the challenges facing the family in his absence. That's the question given to you. And the salutation, dear uncle. Because your sister, your mom, or the family at the family level, anybody who has a difference of about 5, 6, 7, 8 years older than you are, that one is more than brother. That one has become an uncle. Is that English usage? Even if your mother's first son is 40 and you are just 6, if it is possible, and you are just 6, that man is your brother, not your dad. Daddy ni come out, share again, and not be calling your brother dad. That is Yoruba thinking. English will go straight to the point. That's why in Yoruba culture, you see a woman calling another woman Yawumi. And my mommy called his wife, and the wife said, I am busy. See, the examiner will underline it. That second person, the second wife, is not your mommy's wife. Wife simply means somebody you are legally married to. My elder brother's wife is not my wife, but in Yoruba culture, when I visit them, for that, and that is why a Yoruba man that traveled to the UK, who had a friend, a British friend living beside his house, went to knock. Oh, Mr. Smith, good morning. Is my wife around? And the white man nearly burst his head. That, so, you are now marrying my wife? She late. So, your wife is the only person you are legally married to. My brother's wife is my sister-in-law, not my wife. Your sister's husband is not your uncle, it's your brother-in-law. So while writing, respect these aspects. Don't allow your Yoruba culture to jeopardize the way you write. So some examiners can penalize you because the instruction says write a letter to your brother. Who asked you to write a letter to your uncle? Any other question?
Instead of writing dear sister or brother, how about dear sis or dear
bro? Well, an informal letter allows all this. Okay? Allows all this, but not in excess. Dear bro, but capital letter B. So that if no other name is after it, capital letter B. Dear Nikki. Dear Femi. Allowed in informal letter. However, don't overuse this term. There was this letter, I don't know, maybe the teacher who taught them said, before you write your point, gist with the receiver of your letter in an informal letter. And the candidate wrote, Dear Femi, I'm happy to write this letter to you. How is life? You know we can gist before I begin to write inside that same exam sheet. And he was discussing irrelevant things for almost a page. Write 450 words and you have wasted about 120 words. So definitely the examiner knew this one is not ready to pass yet. If you are serious-minded and you are ready to pass, you will not be gisting in an exam situation. That other letter I told you about, one wrote, Dear Mother, it is my pleasure to write this letter to you. Now that you are saying my sister should not marry Brother Michael because he's from another ethnic group, I want to remind you of what my father said before he died. Now, one will be expecting him to quickly state what the father said and how relevant that one was to convincing the mother to change her mind. He now started writing stories of how his father was sick in the office, how he fell down from the chair, and how they were taking him from one hospital to another. And this took like 5 paragraphs. Maybe when he suddenly woke from his slumber, he said, when my father was about to give up the ghost, he said, don't deprive any of my children the right to anybody they want to marry. Therefore, Mom, hearken to the voice of my father. Yours sincerely. See, I'm bringing all this down to you so that you will learn from why some people failed in the past. Simple question. Informal letters are questions of things you are familiar with, things that actually happen to you or day to day. So why somebody will now sit down and forget himself and be writing a relevant thing, you know. They can say there was a storm in your village that carried the roofs of many buildings, including that of your own house. Write a letter to your brother who is abroad, explaining the circumstances and asking him to come to the rescue of your parents. What is a deal in that? So rather than writing simply, expressing or describing the situation and telling your brother how handicapped your parents are, that they cannot make enough money to renovate the building, you begin to say some other things. So, what will help you? We say bye-bye to informal letters and go to essay writing. Essay writing. Are you ready? So, we have done formal letters, we have done informal letters. I said in those days there used to be questions on semi-formal letters, but today we have either a formal letter or an informal letter. Consider a question like that year they said you were involved, God forbid bad thing, not you, not myself, you were involved in a ghastly motor accident, and a good Samaritan rescued you from the scene, took you to the hospital, paid the hospital bills, left his address, and left the hospital. Having fully recovered, write a letter to the good Samaritan, telling him the circumstances that led to the accident and appreciating the role he played in your life. They will say it's a semi-formal letter because you never knew the person from Adams. They can say you just get admission to the university to read medicine, but you don't have the financial capability to pursue the course. Write a letter to a rich man in your area, soliciting his assistance to finance your education, and telling him how you hope to pay him back upon the completion of your program. You know, is this formal? Is this informal? It is semi-formal. But of late, WAEC has not been asking questions of this nature. So, it's either it is formal or it is informal. So, we say bye-bye to that. Move on to essay writing. All right. One, narrative essays. Descriptive essays. Argumentative essays. Expository. Essays. And let's say the fifth one, speech writing. Speech writing. Narrative essays. Right. Narrative essays are essays in which one, you give an account of an event. You give an account of an event that took place at the time in the past. Roman figure 2. You write a story to illustrate a saying. You write a story to illustrate a saying. Full stop. In writing a narrative essay, you must bear in mind that you are writing about something that took place at the time in the past. You are writing about something that took place at the time in the past. Therefore, the past tense form of the verb is required. The past tense form of the verb is required. Your narration should be in a sequential order. In a sequential order or chronological order. Chronological order. Examples are 1. Write a story to illustrate the saying. Write a story to illustrate the saying. Those who live in a glass house must not throw stones. Those who live in a glass house must not throw stones. Another one. While there is life, there is hope. While there is life, there is hope. While there is life, there is hope. Another one. Give an account. Give an account of an incident. Of an incident in which a young innocent man was beaten to death. Give account of an incident in which a young innocent man was beaten to death. And the last one. Write a story which ends with if I had known, I would have obeyed my father's advice. If I had known, I would have obeyed my father's advice. You are not writing. Now, let's see how we can go about these 4 questions. Listen. When you are writing a narrative essay, especially the one that says, give an account. Give an account. An account is like you want to write a statement in the police station. Your account should be such that we provide the police with enough information about what happened, and if you want to carry out any investigation, your report should be able to help them. That's how to give an account. You don't give an account by saying, one day I was just going by the roadside, I saw one car parked. A man came down from the vehicle and asked where I was going. They are not giving an account. If you want to give an account, you say, on the 27th of April, 2024, along Elite Road, precisely very close to the Elite Club, a Toyota Corolla, white color, with registration number, so, parked beside me. A man, averagely tall, about 1.5 meters tall, in black suit, came down and asked me the way to Abeokuta Club. Since I didn't know the place, blah, blah, blah. People see, it's like I'm painting the picture of what happened on that day. Not a one day. The day was not even known. I was going by the roadside. Which road? A man. Which man? From a car. Which car? No, be precise in giving a report. All right? So among those 4 questions, which one do we treat first? What's the first one? Write a story that illustrates the saying. Now, before you approach this kind of question, you must first understand the meaning of those who live in a glass house must not throw stones. What's the meaning of that statement? If you are in an advantageous position, be very careful of the less privileged, because in case of any problem, they have nothing to lose. You are the one who can lose something. Don't interpret this the way it is. You get 0. Like some candidates, the year this question came out, one of the candidates said, once upon a time, there was a rich man who gave birth to 7 boys. The 7 boys were very stubborn, and the man built a gigantic glass house. The man warned them never to play tough and never to even touch stones, never to talk of throwing the stones. But when the man was not around, he started fighting and started throwing stones. Before they got to know, stones had broken the house down. When the man came, the man said, haven't I told you that those who live in glass houses must not throw stones? When somebody writes this kind of essay, irrespective of the kind of polished English he uses in writing, examiner will say, mark him out of 3. You know the meaning. Mark the person out of 3, and nobody will award that 3. 0 will mark back. 0. Because you didn't understand the question. And that is why I could give you about 5 questions. Pick just one. Since you do not know the meaning of that expression, why did you choose that question? But consider the one that talked about he was a teacher, was given an appointment and posted to rural school, but shortly before he got the appointment, he was a master's student in a university, and he was just about to round up the program when he got the appointment, so he couldn't stay in his school as such. But the principal every day would be humiliating the teacher. He even went to the extent of going to his office prostrated and begged that he had just about a few weeks to round up the program and he would become stable in school. Meanwhile, it wasn't that the teacher was lazy. The 3 days he used to spend in school, he would teach all the classes and cover all the aspects of the syllabus he needed to cover. But the principal insisted that he would destroy the young man. Meanwhile, the principal was enjoying in that school, violating all the rules of the Ministry of Education, admitting students to school illegally, illegal collections here and there, advanced malpractice during examination. This young man was witnessing, and the man was making huge amount of money. So, the principal one day issued a very powerful query to the young teacher. So much so that there was no way he would not perish in that circumstances. The man first went to his office to plead that even from that day, he would no longer be absent from school for 1 day. the principal should pardon him. He said, no, I must see your end in this school. No problem. So the man answered the query and also exposed all the atrocities that were being perpetrated by that principal in that rural school. And by himself, he went to the Teaching Service Commission to submit his reply to that query. Forwarded a copy of the query of the letter response to the query to the Ministry of Education, and when they saw it, they didn't believe on earth any right-thinking principal would be doing all that. And this is a principal who has put in about 32 years in service, just having 3 years more to live. And this young man just got that job. Upon the completion of his master's program, he will get appointments to a university where he will be lecturing, crossing from the secondary school to him. That was his dream. So, when this case was pursued, when investigation was carried out, the principal was found culpable. He was dismissed from that job. And the penalties for that young teacher was that those days he was absent from work should be deducted from his salary. And he will continue. That principal was living in a glass house and he was throwing stones. When the same stone was thrown back at him, who lost? Whose losses were more than the other? That's an example. I remember a personal experience. Precisely year 2000. I just bought a Mazda 626, almost new. Very excellent. And I was coming from a friend's house around 10:30 at night, going to my house in Olorunshogo that time, at Ijai Junction. We used to call that place Lion Junction. And a van bus, I don't know, whoever were the occupants of the vehicle, they were so rough in driving that they nearly hit me. And quickly, I had to block them. And I came down to challenge them. As I was about to peep to check those who were inside the vehicle, one of them said, "Ọ̀gbẹ́ni, Ọlọ́run ti yọ ẹ́, máa lọ sílé ẹ o." And it was smoke that was gushing out. I heard a voice that, "Òótọ́ náà sọ fún ẹ o." I entered my car and I went. Now, anything could happen that night. They could kill me. They would destroy my vehicle. And those people inside that vehicle, they had nothing to lose. Perhaps even the vehicle did not belong to them. They were drivers and touts. They could burn my car to ashes. Anything could happen. Nobody would help me in that place. I was a young man who just started enjoying life. Their own, they were already ruined. Why would I be fighting with them? See, poor man, over challenge, olówó tí yà bá ṣẹlẹ̀, aláwọn máa para wọn sí ìbàlẹ̀ lónìí. Olówó ló máa sọ kò lè tó yìn, ìlú ló fẹ́ gbà. So the rich man is living in glass house in quote now, because his position is far better. He has a lot to lose. The one that said, àwọn máa para wọn sí ìbàlẹ̀ lónìí, if you are wise, you walk away. Because to him, life is meaningless. He has nothing to lose. In fact, such a person, if he dies, the community where he lives will celebrate. They will heave a sigh of relief. Adugo Aro. For your own case, you know how many children you are sponsoring. You know how many other children of other people that are living on you. So where will you put them? So those who live in glass house, and about watch of the will see so you don't put on a white attire and go to where they are selling palm oil. You will be stained. Started pursuing him, shouting, "Thief, thief, thief." as he was shouting thief at the real thief was also shouting thief on the waiter. A mob gathered. He disappeared. They mistook the waiter for the original thief. People descended heavily on him. They beat him to comatose. By the time I arrived there, it was almost late because I was the only eyewitness. The man had almost given up the ghosts. Before he was rushed to the hospital, he was confirmed, brought in dead. The real culprit escaped unhurt. That was how the young, innocent man was beaten to death. You see, as I was narrating the story, it was like you are watching the movie, isn't it? You must be able to achieve that kind of effect when you are writing and you are giving a narration of an account of what you saw. So take note. And the use of tenses, everything in the past. Don't say once upon a time there was a man who married 3 wives. The names of the 3 wives are, the examiner will need it. It should be what? The names of the 3 wives were, you mention the names and continue on and on. So that is narrative essay. Another thing you must ensure when you are writing a narrative essay is that while concluding, that same phrase must be used to end your write-up. If I had known, I would have obeyed my father's advice. As a young man in the senior secondary school, I was moving with some friends, and the day my father saw them, he warned me never to move with them again. Contrary to my father's warnings, I was still seeing these boys secretly because of all the things I was enjoying with them. Free food, free beer, free cigarettes, everything. All these habits my father never knew I was involved in. One day, they invited me to a birthday party in Owodiegba, which was not too far from our house in Abeokuta. It was to be an all-night party. We took off around 8:30 p.m. in a Peugeot 504 saloon car owned by the father of one of my friends. After driving a few kilometers from Abeokuta, they parked and went to a nearby bush. They brought out some guns. On seeing this, I was scared. And they told me that for long, I had been riding at the back of a tiger. Now, I found myself inside the tiger. There was no way for me. They explained to me the operation we were going for, that a US-based rich man just arrived, and they were just going there to scare him with the guns and collect all the dollars the man came with. It was said as if it was so easy to do and come back. In fact, they told me what my share of the money would be if the operation was successful. I was hopeful that the following day, I should be able to buy a car of my own from the share that would have put to me. So, we went on to the site of the operation. Unknown to them, somebody had reported them to the police, and the police had laid ambush for them in their target house. On arriving there, we succeeded in scaling the fence. But by the time we were jumping to the compound, were all apprehended by the police, handcuffed and taken to the police station. The following day, we were to face the press, paraded by the Commissioner of Police, and this became a disappointment to the father who had warned that those boys were very bad. Right there in the police cell, I was regretting my action of not obeying my father's advice. If I had known, I would have listened to my father's advice. You see, I've been trying to summarize all those stories I'm telling you, just to give you an insight into how you prepare to write in the exam. Now, those mistakes I've seen students making in narrative essays are telling lies, and at the end of the day, contradicting themselves. This story I just told you now was narrated by a candidate. But how did the candidate spoil the show? Instead of stopping where I stopped, he went further, that they were taken to court and the justice found them guilty and they were to face firing squad. On the day of the execution, the 5 of them were killed. If I had known. So where was that regret coming from? Heaven? Why will you regret after time? He had gone too far. The story should have ended where he said they were in the police cell, tortured, and faced a lot of pains. Now remember his father's advice and regretted not obeying the advice. Can you see that? Sometimes it go like that. One also wrote, and I've had to live with the stigma for the rest of my life. Write a story that ends with, and I've had to live with the stigma for the rest of my life. He wrote about how he was warned by the parents to stop keeping bad company, but she refused. Later, she was impregnated in secondary school. But that unfortunately, the classmates who got her impregnated denied the pregnancy. And it was a shameful thing to him, to her and her parents. So while the pregnancy was about 2 months old, her father died, leaving her to the mercy of the mother alone to take care of. Obviously, as at that time, once you are pregnant, you will be sent away from school. So she had to withdraw from school. About 6 months into the pregnancy, the mother also died. There was nobody to help. But she found favor in one of her seniors who had married to a rich man, and both the senior and the rich man employed her as their housemaid, feeding her, helping her to take care of the pregnancy, and she was finding life easier. She delivered the baby, and yet did not send her away, helping her to take care of the child, and she was studying at home. When the GC form came out, she said she obtained the form, she sat for the exam. Being a brilliant student, she passed. Okay? She passed. She wrote UTME, she passed. And this couple also promised that they will take care of the child for her and they will sponsor her university education, which she continued with. In the university, she was doing well. She met another young man, explained her past to him, and was ready to marry her. So they continued their relationship. They served together. Unfortunately enough, they were retained where they served. So she was fully employed. So after working for about 2 years, decided to get married. On their wedding day, said as her mother got the mic to pray for her, Her mother was crying. The mother that died when the pregnancy was about 6 months. So the examiner will just draw a line. That's contradiction. Be very smart. I know narrative essays or most of these essays are things that you are just using your creativity to write. It's an imaginary story. But be very smart. Plan your story before you start writing. If there are flaws, remove the flaws before you continue to write. Not the one that the examiner will help you to identify your flaw. Mother that died when you were 6 months pregnant. How come? That's contradiction. Anyway, I know many of you tell lies. Even Sam cannot get the lies. Many of you are specialists in that area. Be careful when you write. The examiner is not a fool. And if the examiner is not marking your essays absent-mindedly, he's concentrating. Because whatever mark the examiner gives, the team leader will still vet and see that he has done nonsense there. So now no examiner wants to be blacklisted. You want to put in your text to mark so that your name too will be written in gold at the marking center. So we say bye-bye to narrative essays. Except there is a question. Do you have any questions on narrative essays? No. When you write an essay, no complimentary clues. Okay? In fact, if you have written an article, you can put your name and your location. Article. Questions like, write an article for publication on the causes of road traffic accidents in Nigeria. And you have written a very beautiful feature essay or feature article. Down it, just as you see on pages of newspapers too. Adelola, Omolabake, Abeokuta. The question says, write an article for publication in your school's magazine. In a school magazine, write your name and your class, etc., etc. Have I answered your question? Okay. There are so many things you have to consider. The person you are describing to has never met a person before. Your description should be such that by the time the reader of that essay or article sees the person you are describing, he should be able to know this is the person I read about yesterday. Have you read about a missing person before? How they describe the missing person? Just in case they are unable to use the person as a photograph, they will tell you the height, the shape, the figure, the eyes, the ear, everything. And the kind of descriptive essay you were writing in primary school. The name of my friend is Yemi. He's 10 years old. He's in primary 3. I like him because he used to talk in the class. This one, you should think of more and better things than that. You want to write about the man or the woman I admire most. Let me give you a brief one. Suppose there's somebody I admire, and I want to describe the person for you. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The person I admire most is Janet Adeola. She's an indigene of Iwo in Osun State. She's 25 years old. She's averagely tall, 1.5 meters tall. Sky blue eyes, pointed nose, long hair, immaculately white set of teeth. She's light in complexion, and from head to toe, she's spotless, with a very good gait. You know me of gait? What's the meaning? Gait. A very good gait. What's the meaning of that? Gait means carriage. Carriage. Her steppings, the way she walks. You know, it's part of a woman's beauty. I said she has a very good gait. Now, still describing her physical attitude. She likes blue dresses with tiny necklace, small wristwatch, and most of the time she dresses in trousers and top. She's a graduate of Oladoke Akintobi University of Technology, Ogumosho. Very brilliant and intelligent. She's a Christian, God-fearing, and generous to a fault. She's an athlete. She has been representing organizations both within and abroad. There is no person who comes across Janet that will not want to be her friend, because she's tolerant, humorous, and gentle. If you come across her, she will become your friend. I don't want to continue on and on. But the little I told you about her, some of you already seen Jane. Very pretty, isn't it? Intelligent, brilliant. She has all the 3 B's a man will look for in a woman. You know the 3 B's? Do you know the 3 B's? I'll find out. But unfortunately enough, she's lucky to have all the 3 B's. Not all ladies have that. To combine beauty with good behavior and with brilliance. She's beautiful, having good behavior, and very brilliant. Equally, she's intelligent. You know, there's a difference between being intelligent and being brilliant. You may be intelligent without being brilliant. You may be brilliant without being intelligent. I have some illiterate people that when you relate to them, you know that they are very intelligent, though they didn't go to school. And you see some brilliant people that are not intelligent. Okay, consider this. 3 professors were traveling along Ilesha-Ibadan road, and they had a punctured tire. They discovered that out of the 4 knots holding that rim, 3 had removed. It was even God that sent them to that place. How would they now continue the journey? With just 1 knot, tying the rim to the hub. They decided to send their driver back to Ibadan to go and buy nuts. It was a nearby madman who came to them that since others have 444, why didn't you remove 111 to support that one and they go? So who is mad now? Who is pro? So, being brilliant is different from being intelligent. But when you have the 2, just like Jane or Janet, oh my God. You understand? So that's about that. Again, you want to describe how to prepare your favorite meal. Some of you don't know that your description should be such that somebody must go to the kitchen without your write-up, following it and prepare that food. So in your write-up you said to prepare pounded yam and a vegetable soup for 3 people. You peel yam, slice it, cook it, Get mortar and pestle. When the yam is cooked, put it inside the mortar. Pound. When it is sticky, dish it out. For vegetable soup, get vegetable from the market. Buy pepper, buy oil, buy. Now, did you tell us the quantities that we should prepare? Unless you do that, nobody can follow that instruction and cook anything reasonable. So, but if you give your description in the quantities required, you said add salt, and the person never knew the quantity of salt that is required. Just put the tablespoon. 1, 2, 3, because the salt is still plenty. You did not give any instruction as to cooking that yam. That the yam used for pounding pounded yam, you don't add salt. Suppose the person did not know added salt. In cooking, you said it depends on go and buy vegetable. What quantity? 200 naira worth of vegetable. 500 naira worth of vegetable. Fine. Onions, 1 average size. Pepper, 500 naira worth of pepper. Tomatoes, 200 naira worth of tomatoes. Will you listen to me? Maybe you are the one. Do you know the soup I want to prepare? I'm teaching you how to prepare my own local meal. Do you know whether I'm from Kutolu? Whatever. Where we eat raw pepper. So in your own write-up, you know how to cook what you want to cook. Some of you might choose to teach us how to prepare the kokore. Some will say it's beautiful. But when you ask to prepare a local meal, don't talk about fried egg and yam. Mommy has been doing everything for you at home. And it's good mommy is doing it for you, but always be present to learn. When you get admission to the university, you'll be on your own. You're not going to be wasting money buying food. All this. Then, hello, how to play a traditional game is also an example of a traditional, a descriptive essay. Which traditional game do you know how to play? Ayo is 1. Pardon? Draft is not a traditional game. Ayo is 1. Okoto, but many of you can never remember that. So, argumentative essays. Argumentative essays. An argumentative essay is the one in which or against a motion. The parliamentary system of government is better than the presidential system of government. Male children are more beneficial to their parents than the female children. It's an argumentative essay. So you are free to support or oppose the motion. Male children are more beneficial to their parents than female children. Why are you still groaning about this one? Another one. Living in the rural area is better than living in the urban area. living in the rural area is better than living in the urban area. Full stop. When writing the argumentative essay, the first step is to write the topic or the title. The first step is to write the title. Which must not be changed from what it is in the question. Which must not be changed from what it is in the question. Let me explain this place to you. Look at the topic. Male children are more beneficial to their parents than the female children. Now, whether you want to support or oppose this motion, that topic will remain the way it is on top of your paper. Okay? Don't change it to female children are more beneficial than male children. So you write it the way it is. All right. 2, the title. Write the introduction. Write the introduction. Write the introduction. Which should be in form of greetings of the officials present. Which will be in form of greetings of the officials present. After that is the body of the argument. Body of the argument. Then under this, I want to explain some things to you. Right. In your argument, you must balance the two sides. You must balance the two sides, but making us to see the side that you support.